Hello friends, hello. I wanted to come on as a pre-intro to this video, this teaching about the karmic situations, karmic cycles, and divine timing. I tried to smash the whole video into one long video. The teaching, which is this channeling that you'll see me do here in a minute, outdoors, and then I have a pick a card that goes along with it that I mention in this video as well. Well, I don't have enough storage space on my devices. I've tried multiple devices. It was going to be an over 2 hours long video smashed together like that, and it just wasn't working. And so I decided to split it in two. So you'll have this video, which is part one, which is the channeling, the deep dive teaching, and 101 type of thing from the guides regarding karmic situations, anything having to do with karmics and karmic stuff and divine timing and how that relates to you. And then part two will be the next video that I will drop will be the pick a card, which will go into more detail for you and your own personal situation about how karmic situations, karmic contracts, karmic stuff, and divine timing is playing out or affecting you in your now reality. So I just wanted to share that since if you hear me talk about the pick a card, it's not directly on this video. So be on the lookout for that part two if that's something that you're interested in. So thank you all for watching, and I will catch y'all again soon. Take care. Hello friends, hello, hello. It is a little windy out here today, but I am taking advantage of all the sunny, beautiful days that I can. It's like 70 degrees. We're out by the river with Ollie Pop strawberry vanilla. Our take on a classic cream soda blends real strawberry juice with vanilla bean and a touch of lemon for an indulgence that somehow clocks in at only 3 grams of sugar. Okay. Strawberry and vanilla. And we are here today to talk about karmic cycles. So the way I want to do this particular show is I'm going to do this part as like an intro, with the channeled messages and some teachings on the deeper meanings of what karmic cycles are, because I have some questions myself. And then I'm going to go home after that, and I'm going to film the pick a card that will also go with it. So if you don't care or don't have the time to hear the whole thing, like hear the channeled messages and the teaching from Spirit, or you just want to skip straight to your pick a card reading, then you can go ahead and do that. But the way my pick a cards tend to work best for me is to do a general collective message first and then move into a pick a card. So you choose what works best for you, and hopefully my camera won't fall over. So I'm wrapping us all in love light and light love, inviting in the spirit guides who want to talk to us today about karmic cycles. And what this means to you. So what this means to you specifically, I think we'll dive deeper in the pick a card part. But I want the guides to just come in briefly and talk about karmic cycles. Why are they important? What are they? Because you hear this all the time. Card readings, astrologer, any spirituality-based folks, like this seems to come up quite a lot. Like you hear the words karmic cycles and it just kind of just goes by. Karmic cycles are closing out, or you're in a karmic cycle, or this karmic cycle you're in has to close out before you can move forward. And it's like, what does that even mean? And I think there's various maybe different meanings to what all that is, but I just want to know more. So already here we have Archangel Metatron, Archangel Raziel. So Archangel Metatron helping us a little bit with understanding the divine timing aspect of karmic cycles. Archangel Raziel going to help me dive a little bit deeper into more of the esoteric, deeper spiritual meanings. He always helps me with like deeper spiritual teachings. Archangel Michael here for the the 144,000, you know, like light warrior, light worker work, helping me to help you better understand these things on your own spiritual journey and your own spiritual path. Now to get us started, and it is a little windy today, so I didn't bring a ton of decks. I like to like use the decks as a portal into the conversations. So I brought the Gil Tarot, and I bought my deck, Bubble, and I did buy a brand new deck. It's not here yet though, but it's really going to be cool when I play with that with y'all in another reading. But let's get out the Gil Tarot, and let's just glasses on. I know the big dilemma too is like glasses on, glasses off. Glasses on, glasses off. Let's take them off for a minute. Something about my eyes have to do something here. My eyes are somehow also sending or disseminating the information through my eyes. They're saying so. How do I want to say this? So sometimes these teachings are more things you already know, but you just need the instructions set to start running within you. And so as I'm talking, I'll be like spreading the words, but my eyes will also be doing some sort of light language to activate the remembrance within you, they're saying. So they want me to have glasses off. So let me just put them away. All right, so we're going to pull out the Gil Tarot. It's just, where do you want to start, you guys? The Karmic Cycles. Oh, this is the card I drew this morning. This is so funny. So, 10 of Wands, oppression. It looks like a little jail, like a burning jail to me, like jail bars. I swear. Okay, so what does this card have to do? There's 10 wands. Okay, so the first thing they're saying there is I don't know if it's like me personally or us watching this, think that karmic cycles have to do with some sort of, I'm just going to bounce this back a little bit, have to do with some sort of bad thing. Like, I'm in a karmic cycle, and so that's a bad thing. Or I'm in a karmic relationship, that's a bad thing. Because when these things come up, like, oh, so-and-so's with a karmic partner, or this is a karmic relationship, or Saturn's got some karmic cycle going on, right away we go into our energy, your energy pulls, like your energy constricts. Okay, B, you cannot have my Olipop. A private message. I don't know. Somebody whose initials start with B is watching this video. So Olipop and B. All right. I don't know how I'm going to stop the bee from getting in my food, but right away. Oh my God, okay, so this is a starseed thing too, all right? This has this pulling back and feeling repressed by karmic cycles and karmic energies and so forth also has some healing to do with starseed origins. anytime that there's a constriction, the word karmic is being used. And they're saying it's being used so loosely now that it's being kind of thrown around for every little thing. And it's become its own little it's got like a bad reputation, they're saying, because any type of cycle, regardless of whether it's an up cycle, meaning something really good is going on for a period of time, or what you would say is, well, what is a down cycle? So the wheel turns and it's a down cycle. And you would say like, oh, that's really a bad thing happening. Is all there, all these things, the ups and the downs, the wheels turning, are all there to balance out energy, to teach you something, and to balance the scales of justice sometimes. So they want me to first touch on karmic partner, because that seems to be a really big one. So karmic partner is going to be one, and then divine timing is going to be another one, and then larger quote-unquote karmic cycles is the third one that they want to touch on. So karmic partner, you hear this term a lot, especially in the twin flame community. So-and-so's with a karmic partner or a catalyst, they're saying, would be a better term than the word karmic partner. And I think that they're saying the word karmic partner gets used because this person, this relationship, it doesn't have to be a romance, but this relationship has come in to teach you something as a catalyst, or to be catalytic, to balance out certain things that either you were meant to learn in this lifetime, so lessons that you chose to learn in this lifetime before you incarnated, or maybe there is some sort of divine, I'm just going to call it divine justice, between you and another soul from a previous lifetime, and you came into this lifetime and you said, okay, we want to balance this out, and so we're going to come together, and we're going to balance the energies of what's been out of balance from previous lifetimes. What always seems to happen there, though, is because there's a balancing of energies, typically there's soul lessons to be learned, things to be, like they're saying possibly restitution taking place, that's considered, you know, from the human perspective, a bad thing. And I can totally understand, we're going to start like a talk show. I can totally understand the whole lessons being learned. But what about when you feel like the lessons have all been learned, like there's no more that you can learn from this person? This is like a question I'm asking them. So like you feel like you've learned everything you possibly can from this person, and now you feel like it's time for them to, it's time for this relationship to move on and for you to be released from whatever this is, because you feel like, you know, you've taught everything you can teach them, they've taught everything they can teach you, but still it's like the karmic cycle has to complete, and the situation has to be seen through to completion. What is that all about? That's my question. I knew that was the answer I was going to get. They're like, you think everything's complete. There's still lessons to be learned. There's still basically like, well, you don't know everything. You think you know, but it's back to the you think you know, but you don't really know everything that's playing out. And sometimes, and I even have a card, I think, in the bubble deck. Let's just see if it comes out. This is my deck, Bubble Bubble. Perfect for this time of year, this autumnal time of year. There's 2 cards coming out. Oh, I don't want to lay them down on this table. Why did I do that? Dirt getting on them. First one is face your fears. They have no power over you. And the second one is sweet treat. You deserve to treat yourself. Have one. What in the bejesus does this have to do with karmic cycles ending? Okay, I get it. So this has to do with, okay, so let's just go back to this relationship thing, and then we're going to move. All these things I think are the 3 things that they wanted to talk about are kind of all tying into this example that's being given. But they're saying, so you think like you've learned everything you need to learn from this relationship, this person, this situation, and you feel like, you know, it's time to move on, that maybe you're just looping through some of the same scenarios with these individuals over and over again. And you're like, well, I don't feel like there's anything new coming in here. And then you start to get a little anxious and a little like, I want this to end now. So basically, there's lessons that need to be learned at the relationship level. So think of it like concentric circles. The karmic relationship, these 2 parties, they have lessons to learn together. It could be a rebalancing of energies from past lifetimes, or maybe even earlier in this particular lifetime, meaning, you know, maybe you met with this person way back when and something happened and it didn't balance out. It got worse. And then you reconnect with this person later on in life and energies need to be balanced out. Okay, that makes sense. And so that's one circle in the lessons that are being learned. The next one is I'm ready to be out of this now. I want it now. I want to move on now. I'm ready for something new now, a new whatever. I'm ready to move on now. And Spirit says, and you kind of are trying to push in terms of the manifestation, which, you know, we don't need to do manifestation 101 on this channel because we know how to do that. But Source is saying there's lessons there that you have to learn about acceptance of where you're at now, because you can't control outcomes on your own, and faith and trust in other cycles, like cycles of the wheel turning and this quote-unquote bad situation resolving itself and you being able to move on. And so your soul has some individual soul lessons to learn about acceptance, faith, trust, patience, and divine timing. So it's like you're learning multiple sets of lessons in this one situation. Kind of killing 2 or 3 birds with one stone. Let's get it all done at the same time. Kind of like when I don't know why they're bringing up dental work, but it's kind of like, well, we're going to replace all your fillings, but you also need a crown. Instead of coming back 2 or 3 times, let's get it all done now. I don't know why that dental reference is coming up. Okay, hold on. These cars go by and they kick up so much dust. And they just go so fast. They don't care that someone's sitting there. And, yeah, thanks. Thank you. And luckily the wind is blowing the other way. So that example right there does bring up something. So I was going to say they don't care that somebody else is sitting there and is potentially impacted by this. So there's also some forgiveness work that has to be done with this situation. A little bit of understanding, and this is not the first time that this has come up on the show, so I don't want to belabor it too much, but being able to pull back from the perspective of this is a bad thing and seeing that in reality, this is really just two souls or possibly more souls involved here to play a part in this experience in order to balance out energies or help shift things or learn soul lessons. And it's not, sometimes too my guides are like, it's not always just about you, because I'm like, personally, when something feels over, it's like, okay, I'm ready to manifest something new. And they're like, okay, but it's not just about you. There's other souls involved. And then the karmic wheel, the divine timing aspect of it comes into play. And there may be situations you're not aware of that have to happen before you can basically get yours and get your rewards. And when things aren't happening when you want them to, it's even more of an opportunity to slip into, like I'm starting to call it like a radical acceptance, and just enjoying. And you then go into gratitude, and I've heard this multiple times, like one of the fastest ways to raise your vibration is just to go into gratitude for what you already have now. Because even if it's the worst possible situation, what you consider to be the worst possible situation in the whole world, there's always something. There has to be even some little tiny thing that you can be grateful for. There's always something. So I think that's where they were going with this whole sweet treat card and the facing your fears. So let me see if there's anything else you want to talk about divine timing. Okay, so they want me to draw one more card about divine timing. It's starting to get a little chilly out here. Oh, the cards are all schlippingly. Oh, okay. It's the Tower card. What is that? Well, obviously, I'm supposed to look at this card. So the lady's falling down. There's lightning like behind her. Almost looks like it's hitting her feet though. And the guy's falling down. And I don't know what this yellow stuff is. The tower's being struck by lightning, but only a few bricks are falling off. I don't know what all this is. Like some sort of gold stuff. Oh, he has a crown on. Oh, the guy has a crown on. The lady does not. Sometimes, too, before you can move on to something else, even though in your mind you think that it's time to move on, Spirit will put you in a holding pattern so that you can go through a series of upgrades to strengthen your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual bodies, for you to do some personal growth work on yourself, to get you, as Abraham and Esther Hicks say, like get you ready to be ready to be ready. Especially if you are wanting to manifest something very high vibe from where you're at now, like as part of this karmic situation, you could be like, okay, you could come to the place like I never ever, like the realization or the truth, like I never ever want to be in this situation ever again, ever. And so in order to be able to manifest something so high vibe that you would not be pulling in something similar to what you already had, you also may have to go through some soul level upgrades in terms of your belief systems, your your manifesting power, they're saying, and your soul growth. And so that's another circle within the other two circles we were already talking about you learning soul lessons, you and the other parties involved in a situation learning dual lessons together. And then at the same time, you may also be doing some light body upgrades, spirituality-based upgrades, to be able to manifest a higher echelon of stuff. Oh my gosh, hold on. Why am I getting that pressure? I was getting like a weird pressure right here. So this is your willpower point, like your divine, like your third eye is kind of higher. This is like your willpower. Oh, your chakras could need to be upgraded in order to manifest something more high vibe. Lots of, there could be like chakra level, they're calling them extractions, but there could just need to be like some healing, emotional healing, prosperity healing, that type of healing work that needs to be done within the chakras. So you'll be guided to what's needed by you in order to upgrade, in order to be able to manifest something higher and better. Because if you're just learning some soul lessons within this karmic relationship or situation, and you don't strive, you're not interested in like better or higher vibe stuff. You're just like, I just want out of this one, you know, I kind of like don't care what happens next, or, you know, just bring me somebody else. You could potentially get just another soul lesson walking through the door, like more, everything's a lesson, but you could kind of get more the same, they're saying. But if you've come to the mindset of, I deserve a heck of a lot better than what I have now, and you start dreaming into existence the type of high vibe lifestyle that you want for yourself, then there are potentially some upgrades and some healing work that have to be done in order to be able to do that. So then you could be put into, because it really wasn't a tower card in terms of like the tower card, they were kind of like suspended like the hangman card. And so they're suspended through divine timing until these upgrades and so forth take place. So you can see where these situations can get really complicated in terms of the soul contracts involved, the personal healing work and upgrade, light body, I'll just call it light body upgrades, you know, enlightenment, ascension type upgrades that need to happen, in addition to the individual soul level work that also needs to take place. It can get very complicated. And then the other thing is, if you're trying to manifest, let's just say you're trying to manifest a new partner who's also as high, like I want somebody high vibe, just high vibe, like me, and you like dream about this whole like, you know, multi-dimensional type relationship or spirituality based relationship. Once you start calling that in, even if it is something that's, obviously it's something that's in your soul blueprint from before you incarnated, you said, I'm going to come in and I'm going to have this high vibe lifestyle or high vibe relationship. Once the timeline starts running for that one, the other parties involved also have to be able to come up to meet you at that same level. So they're also doing the same concentric circles of levels of healing that you're doing. And then while you're getting ready to be ready to be ready, they're getting ready to be ready to be ready. And there's a convergence. The convergence point, is it set or not set? Oh, interesting. Hold on. Okay, they're saying the convergence point of when you're going to meet up with, somebody new, this new high vibe person or this new high vibe lifestyle or career, the convergence point is not set in stone. Oh gosh, this may be a longer video than I thought. We may have to do the pick a card separate. Well, I don't know, maybe not. It's not set in stone. So I always thought that let's just say convergence point, I'm just calling it convergence point. So the time, like when you meet a new person or when it's time for a move or all of that, they're saying sometimes it is, but more often than not, it's not set in stone. So then what does that mean? Because what does that mean? It's not set in stone. So then when is it, or how is it decided, like, when this is going to pop off? Oh. So they're saying a series of initiations takes place at different portals, pivotal points along your timeline that you're on. You are given different sets of circumstances that are spiritual tests or spiritual initiations. And if you, what does that mean? If you pass them with flying colors, then the convergence point could come sooner. Oh, well, we've heard that before. This is just a very detailed teaching of like Manifestation 101. And I'm getting dizzy sitting so close to the camera. Let's just take a deep breath. Okay. The convergence point could come sooner. So, yes. So let's say something happens and you get triggered in your karmic situation, and you go into like I want it now. Why isn't my new lifestyle or my new person or whatever here now? And you allow your vibration to drop. So rather than like, oh, I'm going into that headspace again, I need to clear that out. I need to go back to source and go into my radical acceptance. I don't want to let my vibration drop down to a lower level of understanding. I want to keep it high. I understand this is like going through all your checkpoints. I understand this is a journey. I'm not going to let my vibration drop. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to clear this negative thought forms out. And I'm just going to be patient, like go through all of that. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to trust in divine timing. Then they're saying you passed. And any other parties involved on the other side of the situation, like anybody you're trying to manifest, any situation you're trying to manifest, would be going through this similar set of trials and initiation points. And if you both are passing, well, what's a pass? Well, if you're passing those, I have another question here. If you're passing those, then the timeline of the convergence, not the timeline, the convergence point could come sooner. But if every time there's an initiation or a spiritual test, you're allowing your vibration to drop, you're basically forgetting the lessons you've learned. You're not recognizing like, oh, you're miring yourself in the lower vibrations. You're basically getting carried away with like the whole like, woe is me, this isn't happening for me now, the stuff. Then they're saying you don't pass, and you kind of like, it's not that you start all over again, but it's kind of like your guides or source or spirit, the angels, lead you back around to like, okay, remember remember who you are, remember what the lessons are, and you kind of have to wait for the next spiritual test. So you get some time to like integrate and reinstate all of your good vibes and all of that, all the lessons you've learned for the next spiritual test to come around. And they're saying, don't want to get too granular because I want to be like, well, how long does it take for the next spiritual test to come around? They're like, no, that's not going to work. It's going to be different for everybody. So it's very, they're saying it gets very complicated. And so when the words divine timing are used, people tend to think that it's some sort of like prefabbed. Yeah, they're saying like, so you seem to think like divine timing is like, okay, next spring in March, this is when this is going to happen. Like Spirit's got it all figured out, or whatever. It's been all, that is the divine timing. Is I just have to wait for this point in time. And the guides are saying no, that is not how it is. And they're saying that is why when you all are doing these types of readings where you're like, in the next 7 days, what's going to happen? In the next 30 days, anytime you're trying to get a hit on timing, they're saying you're selling yourself short. Everything is always happening in the now. Anything that revolves around when something is going to happen in the future is basically, they're saying, a waste of time. That that they will give ranges, but they're saying you should not really hold them, source, spirit, the spirit world, your soul contract to any sort of timing, especially if you are in the higher realms, living a multidimensional lifestyle, then you're selling yourself short. If you're more in the 3D, which most of you watching this, I think, would not be watching this if you were, but if you're more in the 3D, they're saying you can get away with, in the next 7 days, this is what's going to happen, the next 30 days and all that. But the more you start to push the boundaries of timing and the more you go multidimensional, the more that you're in 0 point reality, which is the higher dimensional fields, it is this Mandela gateway we've been talking about, then the more you cannot count on the timing of things to happen like days, minutes, hours, the less you're able to plot out, the more it doesn't vibe with you anymore to be like, what's my 5-year plan and my 10-year plan? Like when I hear that now, I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't even, like, you can have your goals and your intentions and all that, but to stick them on timelines, it doesn't work anymore. And I've learned that too. I tried to go back to some of my Kanban boards. We went on with Kanban boards and they do kind of work in a sense, but when you try to put timing around like the production of goals and certain things, it doesn't always work. Timing meaning like in 7 days, this is going to happen. In 30 days, this is going to happen. Now, obviously, like if I want to do a video for you guys and I say like, okay, I'm going to do it on Wednesday, then the guys are going to help me get the video done on Wednesday. But it's more like incoming stuff. It's not so much your own personal production of things. It's more like incoming, like I want a new house by next year in March or whatever. I want a new romantic partner like in the next 7 days. They're saying you can't call the shots on that. So that does not work. All right, so I feel like this is kind of winding down. Let me just see if there's anything else. Okay, so they are saying that they are complete. So I am going to go back home here and do the pick a card on how this whole shebang that we've just talked about is affecting you, or not affecting you, but how it works for you like give you some more specifics with the pick a card, how this is playing out like in your own soul journey, what it means to you, what's happening with you right now, and some advice from Source on how to like integrate this teaching and work with this a little bit more so that you can be more at peace with what's going on, so you can find comfort in the situation, and so that you can kind of pass the spiritual test that is the test being that you're always divinely guided, no matter what, whether you think you are or not. So let's go ahead and leave it at this. I'm going to come back next with the piles so that you can pick your pile, and then we will move on to the pick a card. So if you just are watching for this part of the video, I want to thank you all so much for joining me here, and I will see you all again soon. Take care.